How close did something come to happening with Nicole's son? Just please tell us everything, please.
Oh, okay. So, well, why don't you just ask Mike's daughter? She would have told you. No, it's like everything. Like I just talked about. Chris is a friend of mine. We've had conversations, and again, there was a lot of exploratory talks. I can say there were no exchange of offers from either one of us. It was just general talks. So, a lot of the stuff reported, I could tell you guys, is 95% of it's wrong.
Say what? Did you hear what Chris Greer just said? Did you hear the bombshell that he just dropped? Let me play that again so even the people in the back can hear what he just said.
How close did something come to happening with Nicole's son? Just please tell us everything, please.
Oh, okay. So, well, why don't you just ask Mike's daughter? She would have told you. No, it's like everything. Like I just talked about. Chris is a friend of mine. We've had conversations, and again, there was a lot of exploratory talks. I can say there were no exchange of offers from either one of us. It was just general talks. So, a lot of the stuff reported, I could tell you guys, is 95% of it's wrong.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked because every single YouTuber and just about every person on Twitter, both locally and some nationally, were telling me all about the offers that Miami was exchanging with Indianapolis for Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was asked... The Colts were asking for this for Jonathan Taylor. The Miami Dolphins offered that for Jonathan Taylor. And now we find out there wasn't even an offer on the table. I bet you there's a lot of people right now going ahead and deleting their tweets. I don't get invited to the cool kids club. They don't like me to come in because I'm just a little bit different. I just showed up on the scene. I built my YouTube channel just by talking honestly and telling you what I feel and what I know. I've never postured and said I have inside baseball. I don't have any connections other than with the marketing people at the Miami Dolphins organization. Nobody feeds me information, and so I never say to you, hey, I've got some inside information. Here's what I'm hearing. Here's my sources. It's all bullshit. Now you absolutely know when you hear these guys and they're saying all these things about what they know about the Miami Dolphins organization, they are completely full of shit. All of them. They don't know. But think about it to yourself. Why would Chris Greer or Mike McDaniel tell some guy on Twitter what they're going to do with a gazillion-dollar trade for a running back? Why would that even happen? Why would Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer tell anybody outside of the organization what their plans are for the roster? Yet time and time again, all we see is my sources are telling me this. Or they're saying, I've been hearing this from so-and-so, when they're just simply making it up. They're making it up for clicks. They're making it up for views. And the most astounding thing is how many people, how many minions buy into this crap and have just flocked to them to be in this club, per se. The cool kids club, where they just want to talk like they know what they're talking about. It's easy to say I have sources. It's easy to say I have a contact inside the organization, because you need that to validate what you're saying. What I mean by that is it's much harder to put together a storyline and an opinion based upon actual data and information. So it's easy to say, hey, somebody told me, or my sources told me that, Jonathan Taylor is going to sign with the Miami Dolphins. It's any day now. It's going to happen. And they don't have squat. You heard it with Dalvin Cook. You heard it with Jonathan Taylor. You hear it all the time. In fact, when I had a source, not with the team, but actually at the courthouse, and I dropped the information about Dalvin Cook, people screamed. You see, when you have actual information that you present to people, you present it. Hey, I had someone at the courthouse who contacted me, gave me the file. I opened it up and said, here it is. Here's the pictures of the woman beat up, and here's what has happened thus far, and I'll keep you abreast as to everything else that I'm told from this person at the courthouse. Nobody from the Minnesota Vikings contacted me. Nobody from the Miami Dolphins contacted me. Nobody from Dalvin Cook's camp contacted me. I was talking about actual filed documents in the case. But that pisses people off. But now you just heard for yourself from Chris Grier, unless you think he's lying, that all these guys were full of shit. But he goes on. Check this out.
So, we had some discussions, but it's no different than any player that's ever released or available that we know about and have discussions with the GM about it. So Chris was very professional, as he always is. And so in terms of being close or anything, there was nothing really close.
So not only was there not even an offer, nothing was even close. Everybody was on pins and needles waiting for this thing to drop yesterday because everybody, including myself, was told it was about to happen. I started having my doubts at about 2:15. And when I went live, I was just refreshing everything, seeing, hey, what's going on? When it got to about 3:15, I was like, this ain't happening. I didn't know, so I didn't say, but I think any reasonable person could ascertain that information and say, this doesn't look likely. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, and there's going to be a lot of people with egg on their face real soon. That's why I don't make predictions. There's too many variables to account for. Too many things can happen, and you end up looking stupid if you make a prediction and it doesn't happen. But these guys do it all the time. I don't understand how they just put crap out there, expect you to swallow it, and then, say, hey, it doesn't really matter. And before I go, there was one more nugget that he dropped about Tua Tagovailoa. You won't see many people talking about this either.
Is this situation the same with Tua Tagovailoa? The last time we asked him, he said that he hadn't, I wrote it down, he said there hadn't been any contract talks beyond the 5th-year extension. I'm assuming that's still the same.
Yeah.
So what's the philosophy on the wait-and-see play right now?
Well, I just think for him, it's just letting Tua play again. Those things can be a big distraction. You have family, friends, you guys, everyone constantly asking him about it. And so I think from his agents and I have had discussions, just general, but not really about that. And it's just kind of agreed, like, let's just let him play out the season, and then we'll attack that in the offseason.
So what he said was that Tua Tagovailoa is basically an approve-it season. They're not going to hold any contract negotiations with Tua or his agent the entire year. If he doesn't prove it, it ain't happening. If he has a banger season, he's going to get the bag. They're not willing to put things out there right now, any kind of offer to Tua, until they see what he can do. Smart business by Stephen Ross. So what's that tell you? That tells you, if you are an objective fan, that they don't know what's going to happen themselves. They don't feel like they are completely positive that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the franchise quarterback they hope him to be. They took up his option. It's still cheap, but hey, don't talk to me about a contract. Prove it on the field. You won't hear that from many people today, but Chris Grier just said it. Not going to happen until after the season. So we've got basically from now until January, hopefully February, for Tua to prove that he's worth the bag. If he doesn't prove it, not only will he not get the bag, he probably won't be on the Dolphins, which is going to freak everybody out. The mere fact that Chris Grier just came out and said, this is a prove-it season for Tua. Prove it or we're done. It's time to break up. He didn't say those words, but if he's not going to pay Tua until after the season, it's going to say, what did you do for us this year? And he better have the resume to show it that this team went deep into the playoffs, possibly winning an AFC championship for him to get that bag. So it's that simple. If Tua shows that he's worth it, he's going to get paid. If they don't feel that he performed, he's not going to get paid. So every single game this season, with everything else that Tua has to worry about, it's on him. It's 100% on him. The team has surrounded him with resources, except for an offensive line. But now he's got to perform. And so I hope every single one of you see every single game as another step to either A, securing a huge payday come February or March, or B, not being with the team. Let me know what you think. I think Chris Greer dropped some bombshells today. Watch who you follow out there. Understand there's so many people out there with rhetoric who don't have any idea what's actually going on. Not saying I do, but you'll never hear me say I have sources. Talk to you soon. Fins up.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?